out, so it is full 10 days past when you're really supposed to say it. But since we did not get a chance to really to drop an episode like earlier,
I think 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is the cutoff.
Yeah,
You're not going to see everyone you know in the first week.
That's true. That's super true. Like, I went back to work yesterday, and like our athletic director was like, "Hey, I know it's been a while and we haven't seen each other, so Happy New Year." And she's like, "Can I say that?" And I was like, "I mean, you can. I mean, I haven't talked to you since I left for break on the 20th of December." So
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, but Happy New Year. Thank you for being along with us. It's been a cool little journey, cool little year that we've been on with this podcast, and so we just asked you guys stick with us, and we got some big things coming on which we kind of want to talk about later, but I want to open with, I don't know, if rant / 2023 resolution, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't really be us in this podcast if we didn't rant about something.
We got a few rants today.
We have a few rants, a few things we need to get off our chest to kind of, let go of all that stuff going into the new year. And this one has to do with, Zoe, you're not necessarily in that like community space, but I am with, the Twitter account and other stuff like that. And a lot of the people that I follow I'm mutuals with, and I like just kind of like seeing things that kind of happened over the last couple of days. And I have a rant to get off about just the kind of the community that I'm in. And I hope for people that are listening that are in it, that are in this community that I'm in, I want to preface this rant first and foremost and say that I love and respect everybody that is in the community that I'm in. I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy interacting with you guys. I enjoy supporting you guys' content, all that stuff. I want to make it clear that because of that, also just because sometimes I have a hard time articulating myself fully. So I need to make sure I preface that. That way stuff doesn't get lost in, translation, or stuff gets like misconstrued, or like I feel like people feel like I'm attacking them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get into that kind of that kind of space. All right. But sense. What I want to say, and what I want to start this rant off is like, so what started this was basically, so shout out to Shogo High. They just, in general, before I even go into anything, I want to express my support for them. All the people in that collective of that do like space casts and stuff like that. I really enjoy listening to you guys talk about anime and stuff. I enjoy just the overall aesthetic that you guys have in terms of your brand. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that it's like based around like a school, you know what I'm saying? Or you're around the lunch table talking to your friends about nerd shit. Like, that's cool. Like, I really enjoy that like aesthetic of Shogo High, and I enjoy like listening to you guys do stuff. And basically my rant kind of comes off of something that they had done, not negatively per se, but just something they had just done in general, where they posted a thread like comparing like mangakas, right? Like, the original authors of manga, right? Asking like, who do you prefer You know what I'm saying? And they try to base the mangakas off of like, you know, similarities or like similar stories and stuff like that to kind of like give people a good little debate on which one they want, right? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, some of the comments were good. Some people just like outright just chose a mangaka depending on what they had. Some people gave a little bit more of an explanation as to what they wanted. And then there were others that kind of, you know, gave these, you know, these responses that just, generally speaking, like were annoying to me, but I can tell they were annoying to the people that kind of run that Shogo High account. And here's my thing. And here's where I want to get into the rant, right? When it comes to Twitter, right? Just anime/anime manga Twitter. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty vast community. It's a pretty vast sub community of Twitter, right? Like every community is going to have different sects and different types of people within it, right? Twitter has a lot of different various types of people in it. However, most of the people that are in this space of Twitter are between the ages of 16 and 22. From what I'm assuming.
Sure.
Like it's pretty fair to assume that most of the people in Twitter are between the ages of 16 and 22, right? Mm-hmm. And to, you know, to kind of make my point a little further and kind of give more context to what I want to talk about, most of the people in the community that I talk to and just I'm mutuals with that I see on a regular basis, they're above the age of 27. You see what I'm saying? They're above the age of 27. Like literally, I don't know if you're listening to this, like Soul, if you're listening to this, happy belated birthday. He just turned 30.
Happy birthday.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jay, who runs the Shogo High account, I'm pretty sure he's in his 30s. Ked, who's also another host on that Shogo High Collective Twitter Spacecast, he's also 30. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a wide age gap between like the usual suspects on Twitter and this community that I'm in. In the community that we're in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So to have this respectfully, to have this like crusade trying to call out all of Twitter for how they talk about, you know, how they compare and contrast anime and manga, to have this like crusade to where like you're trying to call everybody out and like fix things and like say like, I'm talking to you guys are ruining stuff. You know what I'm saying? It comes off as a little ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It comes off as like it's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, so like I was looking at some of the tweets that they were tweeting out, like leading up to, leading up to like the, what was it? Like the actual space itself, the space. Right?
Yeah.
And they were talking about like, oh, like Twitter, I'm talking right to you guys, and you guys need to pull up to the space because we got a lot to unpack and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? One, because, you know, again, these kids are 16 to 22 years old. They don't care. Like it's one of those situations where like you got to just really let people be them and ignore whatever the hell they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Especially if stuff that you don't agree with or stuff that just like kind of gets on your nerves, right? Like you got to think the Twitter lexicon for that age group. There's only like 3 or 4 phrases or words that like that people use. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? There's no real discussions that are had there. It's always peak, it's always peak, mid, clears, or some other random thing, or let me cook. Those 4. It's peak, mid. There's only 4 phrases that people use. Exactly. There's only 4 phrases in Twitter lexicon. You know what I'm saying? It's peak, mid, let me cook, and then clears, right? And then you get the people, you know what I'm saying?
Variations of all those.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get the people that, you know, are rightfully pretty annoying, that, you know, the actuallys, the let me actually inform this person of this information because I think they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of people. Like Those people are annoying, and I think it's one of those things where yes, like you can have a problem with those people, and you can say, hey, I don't like this. What's going on? This is stupid. Like nobody's really having like legitimate conversations about anime and manga, right? But again, most of the people in this community that I follow are well above the age of 27. Those kids are 16 to 22. Are we really looking at them to have legitimate conversations or legitimate reasoning for comparing and contrasting like anime and manga, or just simply saying that that so-and-so XYZ manga is not for me? You know what I'm saying? Just leaving it at that, or explaining why you don't like it, just in a way that doesn't use the word mid or trash or garbage.
There's also probably some 16-year-olds that know the people they're pissing off are older, so they kind of get like satisfaction from it.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like that's really all I'm really trying to say here is like them kids don't care.
16-year-olds
engagement.
Are dumb.
It's all about like engagement, interaction, and just like getting a rise out of people online. That's really all it is. Like to stand on this, like, oh, what was the tweet? Because I screenshotted it and I need to look at it again. Where was the tweet? What did it say? Oh, it was like Twitter better be in attendance because we're talking to you or some shit like that. Or this is a warning, like all the well actuallys and the clears folks, you guys need to be held accountable for your actions. Accountable for what? You know what I'm saying? It's Twitter.
You don't think who tweeted that? Jay or
I don't know. I think it was a Shogo High account. And again, before we go into further, this is not. I'm not trying to like talk shit or anything. I just like this is something I just kind of was on. It's funny. This was on my mind originally, and this just kind of like sped up the process for me getting it off my chest anyway. So
you don't think Shogo High was being not performative? That's not even close to the word I was thinking of. Reactionary, like on purpose.
Perhaps
maybe to get more people in there.
So get more people in the space. Yeah. I 100% believe that could be the case too. But like, and I was in the space, you know what I'm saying? And they were kind of, talking about it, airing out their grievances and talking about stuff like that. And like, this is not for me. This is not for me to say like, I'm not saying like pointing at specific people and we're like, I'm not like pointing at specific people and saying like you have a problem or this is a problem with you that you're having right now. It's like, no. It's a situation because I see it not just with that, because that just kind of was something that I'm basing my rant around. I see it with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, It's a general issue.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to respond or engage with that stuff. You could just ignore it. And it was funny because like the thread in a sense was kind of inviting multiples of people in the anime sphere to interact with that like that thread, right? Because because you're like comparing mangakas, right? But some people don't have reading comprehension skills and just assume that people were comparing like the animes or people were comparing like the stories. No, we're talking about which mangaka do you prefer over the other one? That was it. But people were talking about, like Demon Slayer's a way better story. It's like, that's not what we said. You know what I'm saying?
There was the thread. It was like a little thread that you sent me.
Dude.
That was so stupid. Because Homeboy was talking about Demon Slayer's mangaka. And he was like, hey, I think he's doing a really cool thing with the story and this and that. And then someone with an Asta profile picture was like, oh, you're saying Demon Slayer is better than Black Clover? It's like,
that's what I'm saying.
I said I like pancakes. I didn't say I hate waffles.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you want to interact or engage or try to call out people who do this on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like, it's annoying. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of mental capacity. You know what I'm saying? Like I screenshotted the thread. Basically, the dude was saying that, you know, he likes Black Clover and Demon Slayer. He likes both, right? And he said that that Black Clover, in terms of like what it means to him, is in his top one. But he claimed that, you know, I think the story of Demon Slayer is a little bit better. That's all he said. Just a simple, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, you can interact with that and be like, you know, personally, I feel like, you know, Black Clover story did a better job doing this and this and this. It really was not a hard stance at all. Like, he didn't like, it's not like he was standing 10 toes on it. He was just voicing what he liked and didn't like. Like that, like those kind of tweets, like, yeah, if you want to interact with that and say, you know what, I kind of feel like Demon Slayer does a better job with this, with X, Y, and Z over Demon Slayer. But I see what you're pointing. You know what I'm saying? Those are good interactions to have on Twitter. They build a community. They get, like, you know, you can develop rapport with people and like build your community out like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then Buddy comes in and talk about some bros said Demon Slayer story is a bit better than Black Clover, and then posted the fucking like Goku meme. I have to ratio this nigga. And it's like, at that point, because the other guys that tweeted it, right, he's a better person than me, because if I would have saw that, I would have just like let it. I would just like either not blocked him, muted him, or just went about my day. Honestly,
I would let the
he replied, "Bro, it's only my." He replied, "Bro, it's only my opinion. Don't take it that hard. And honestly, I'd choose Black Clover any day over Demon Slayer." And then somebody said, "Then why did you say it, bruh?"
Because it's really not opinion.
Those are the type of people that you're trying to like call out and say that you've had enough with, or you need to be held accountable for your actions. Not really. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to interact with them.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that.
If someone replies to you and their favorite anime is their PFP and they got 12 followers, there's no point.
Leave it alone, dude. Leave it alone.
Their whole personality is that one anime.
Exactly. And like, there's no need for all that. Like, you know, you could, and again, I 1000% agree with all the sentiments that they have. Like, using the words clears and peak and mid or whatever, like,
it gets annoying.
For me in general, if you use the words peak, mid, or clears, in any capacity when comparing anime, your opinion automatically gets disqualified. Just as me, because I feel like, you know, you're not really trying to have a legit conversation. You're just kind of like have this weird, I'm not gonna call it NPC, because that's another like really like young generational term, but it kind of sounds like that, or like you're just kind of regurgitating the same kind of like tired, you know, slang and talk that, you know, like the kids on the internet that talk about anime talk, you know, use. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work for me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
If you think a certain show sucks, right, and you want to voice why it sucks, you could do it in a way where, one, you're not being an asshole, and two, you're not using those words. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to use those words and get your point across to, you know what I'm saying, to me or whatever. Because, you know, and even if you do come voice it the right way, I don't have to respond to that either. Because if I like, you know, and we'll get into this later, if I like Trigun, the new Trigun Stampede show, and half my mutuals don't like it because of the CG, and they tweet about how it sucks, I go, I'm not going to reply to that. You see what I'm saying? Sure. Like, it's what's the point? What's the point?
Even if you do, I think like a good thing to mention is, even if you do reply, it's I think it's lost on kids, not because of a generational thing. I just think in general, like even when we were kids, you kind of don't look at art too subjectively. You kind of think,
no, you don't.
You think like, ooh, haha, funny, or ooh, haha, cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. Arguing with younger people about that kind of stuff is it's kind of redundant, because like as an adult, you kind of, it's like, you know what you like, and you've been watching what you like for years, so you know your opinions and you know what you look for in certain mediums. And you know, a 16-year-old might like fucking only Black Clover now, but when he grows up, he'll be like, damn, I missed out on fucking Trigun, like you said, you know? Like
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
can
yeah.
change.
And like, and yeah, and I think, it comes with them, with like the people that are in this community. Like for me personally, like I'm just gonna ignore it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the one thing that I think, could be seriously policed and seriously you know what I'm saying, you gotta be held accountable, you gotta cut this shit out, is the well actually people. Because it's been a
Yeah.
running joke in the community with like the well actually it's the XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to like a lot of the women in the community that I'm in, like a lot of them will tweet about shit and you get these weird dudes in their comments like trying to correct them on certain shit, and it's like there's no need for that, my guy. You know what I'm saying? If they like on different types of levels, like on the simping for 2D men shit, or just them talking about an anime they like, or
Sure.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to be in their comments if it doesn't, if it doesn't like apply to you, then let it go, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I wrote down like a quote for this rant to like kind of base my whole argument around.
Uh-oh.
And my favorite one of my favorite comedians is John Mulaney. All right. And he has a quote in one of his stand-ups where he says, "Do you realize how much easier it is to not do something?" Because it is. You could easily just scroll past the tweet, scroll past the bad take, scroll past all that stuff. If you want to use it as like a conversation piece to start, cool. You know what I'm saying? You can say, "Oh, like people were saying X, Y, and Z. Here's what I think." You know what I'm saying? You don't, but you don't even have to do that. Just scroll past it. It's really that simple.
But to play devil's advocate for a second, some people like the problems.
They do. They really do. And that's just
You ever
not
seen
me,
that
though.
clip?
You know what I'm saying?
It's like from an African movie. I want problems, no peace, always.
Literally, like that's. I mean, hey, if that's what you want, that's what you like to do. I'm not gonna, again, perfect example. If this doesn't apply to you, and if you want to keep on engaged with those people, you could just ignore this and keep going. So you can ignore this and keep on putting your energy into like that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
sometimes I thrive off the negativity too, so I understand.
Yeah. Like speaking from like personal experience, like on 2 separate occasions, there's been situations where I've had just random people in my comments on a tweet that I'm just not going to reply to ever. Like it's just going to sit there. Like fucking. So the first one was the fairy tale one. Oh dang, you gotta focus.
Yeah, I fixed
the
it.
first one was the fairy tale one, right? Where I was under. It was like a while ago. Like I tweeted about. No, it was like, oh, who are you taking in a fight? Natsu from Fairy Tail or Asta from Black Clover? And personally speaking, personally speaking, like Asta has the anti-magic thing, so he kind of nullifies magic. Natsu is from a anime that uses magic as a power source, so I'm thinking it's a pretty fair association to say, hey, Asta probably has the upper hand in a fight because of his anti-magic, right? So I said, so jokingly, like it's just off the cuff joke, tongue in cheek, whatever. I was like, and because like the big joke about Fairy Tail is like the power of friendship can that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So I said, LOL, the power of friendship is not saving Natsu. Asta is washing him. Joking. You know what I'm saying? People could have just seen people laughed at my tweet. People liked it, whatever. Cool. There were 3 Fairy Tail accounts, Stan accounts. They all followed each other, and they were like replying to people, like being super shitty, like, and being like very well actually about the situation. I was like, oh, so somebody's never actually watched the show, and then like he's talking about the power of friendship. It's like, bro, I don't care. I don't know what you want from me. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, the other day, you quote tweeted that some people were shipping Aki and Angel Devil.
And the Angel Devil, yes.
And for obvious reasons, I don't know the story of Chainsaw Man, like where you're at. I'm anime
Yeah.
only. But you said something like, "Oh, this is kind of weird because of like something else, like just story
Yeah.
related." And
All
then
I asked, like, all.
someone was
No, go
like,
ahead.
"Oh, this guy's worried about two guys being shipped." That's not what you said. That's
That's not
not
what I
at all
said.
what you said.
That's not what I said. All I did was ask a question. I said, "Are people really shipping Aki and the Angel Devil?" And I got people to respond and say, "Yeah, but it doesn't really seem right." And then like Courtney, I don't know if Courtney listens to this podcast either, but side note, definitely want to have her on the pod one episode just as a guest because I think she's
Oh yeah.
hilarious. I was talking to because Courtney replied and was like, in her her usual way of talking about like 2D characters and shit. She was like, I was waiting for like the ship and it sailed. Essentially, is what she said, just being funny because like there wasn't that much chemistry there that she saw.
Sure.
Me personally, again, and you've already touched on this, like I've I know the dynamic between Aki and the Angel Devil because I've seen it in the manga.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to get too much into it, but like I'm just being honest right now. Like there's nothing there. Just being honest.
And I'll agree because I've seen Skate the Infinity. I can see why those characters are shipped.
Yeah.
That show's gay as hell. But again, personally, I didn't see any like chemistry between Aki and Angel Devil in the 2 seconds that they talked. So I agree. I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. That's weird that they. And then again, oh, you're being homophobic. I said I like pancakes. I didn't say I hate waffles.
Yeah, all I do is ask a question. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then that wasn't even one of the ones I was talking about. I was talking about like when that Haikyuu tweet popped off like a few months ago. Like people were in the comments talking about, like, oh my God, you're this hype over a sports anime? It's like, yes, that's why I tweeted it.
Sports are hype. What?
Like, what do we, you know what I'm saying? So like, but in all three of those occasions, didn't reply to those tweets just because like it just doesn't matter. Like, and I could pull so many different like examples too. Like, I remember fucking this. I broke my rule one time, and I got annoyed with myself because what was it? We were talking about Bleach, right? We were talking about villains, right? And
that's your
one
baby
guy.
though.
I know, but we were talking about this one guy. This one guy was talking about how he said like Aizen wasn't a good villain, right, or whatever. And respect, and rightfully so. Some people like were in the comments like you're smoking, like what I'm saying, like you're tripping right now. So he got put in a Twitter space, and it's like at this point it's like 8 p.m. He's in a Twitter space, and he refers to Aizen as a flat character. So in spaces, you're on the hashtag, you can tweet stuff. I tweeted it as soon as he said it. He was like, Aizen is a flat character. I looked up the definition of a flat character, screenshotted it, and then put it in the thing and said, hey, like, this doesn't fit what Aizen is, correct? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, this doesn't fit what Aizen is because he's not a flat character, right? I leave the space like 20 minutes later.
Uh-oh.
I go to work the next morning. So at this point, it's what, like 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours since I tweeted that. Buddy replied to me and was like, well, actually. And I'm like, bruh.
Oh my God.
I'm like I'm at my job. I tweeted it and I forgot about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, but think about that though. Think about the mental capacity this man has. And like the effort he put in to scroll through the hashtag and reply to people, especially like it replied to people over 10 hours ago. And through going up and down the hashtag, like picking the tweets that he wanted to reply to that disagreed with what he had to say. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? It's just one of those things where it's like, bruh, I think it got more annoying because it was like 10 hours ago. And I ended up replying to him and I was like, bro, this literally the Merriam-Webster dictionary describes a flat character as XYZ, and that's not Aizen. And he legitimately tried to tell me the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of a flat character was wrong. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I don't need to talk to this guy anymore.
I think, you know what it might be? I think if you reply or quote tweet with media, like a video or a picture, they'll stop because they'll see what it is. Because I remember, this has nothing to do with anime, but I'll never forget this. This tweet kind of popped off because obviously some hateful people were retweeting it, but other people were giving it shit. I remember this very homophobic tweet that I really didn't like was popping off. It was something like, my kid going over to the gay kid's house to bully him or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I quoted it and I said, this is lame as fuck and something, and I think I put a picture. And for some reason that guy quote tweeted me.
Yeah.
But it was really lame. He just quote tweeted my tweet with my profile picture.
Yeah.
Like trying to call me ugly or trying to call me fat or something. But
Yeah.
I retweeted it. And then I responded saying like, good luck. And I remember like a bunch of our friends were replying at him, like saying like, fuck you, this and that, blah, blah. It was really funny.
And it's like, yeah. But I'm saying, like, it's just one of those things, you see it, and, like, some people, want to, interact and, like, and talk to, and kind of do that thing. And, like, you know what? If that's what you want to do, that's how you get down. That's fine. But at the same time, I just don't believe that going at people like that is going to change their minds on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's going to get people to see a new perspective. I think, especially when it comes to just talking about, anything, just in seeing tweets that you don't necessarily agree with at all. You know what I'm saying? There is something to be said about people that give the well actually. That's kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a good, you can have that kind of stance and say, you know what, clears, mid, peak, and well actually. Get those out of here. You know what I'm saying? But do it within the confines of the community that you're currently in. That's my big point. Do it within the confines of the community you're currently in, because anti-Twitter is a very vast space, and trying to corral and trying to police and trying to make this crusade on all of anti-Twitter as a whole, especially when you have to understand that we are above the age of, well, both of us will be 26 this year, coming up, but you know what I'm saying, that we as a whole are above the age of 25, 26, 27. They're between the ages of 16 and 22. If you try to make this thing about all of anti-Twitter, it's going to come across as old man screams at cloud. I'm just being honest. It comes off as old man screams at cloud, because those kids are going to look at you on the TL, like, talking about like how all of anti-Twitter is cooked and how, saying nobody can have a real conversation anymore. Say that within the community, because most of us do a good job with that. Most of us have legitimate arguments and legitimate stances on things and have productive conversations. Like I can't tell you how many times like I've had productive conversations on just whatever. Like I went on this long ass like conversation about Tokyo Revengers' manga ending that lasted like a few hours, because I was just tweeting back and forth with people, making my point on how I didn't like it, but like some people had points as though like why they enjoyed it, or certain things that some points that I might have had, they had rebuttals to that I kind of like, saw in a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a good conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get that with 16 to 22-year-olds. It's very rare that you're going to get that, especially on Twitter. Yeah. So, yes, I know this is a fucking 25-minute like discussion to just basically say, hey, if you're going to have this crusade, keep it in the community. New people that come in that are on that type of shit, you got to let them know up front, hey, in this little group of people that we have, like, you're not doing that.
Explain yourself.
You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that. We don't do that here. To quote T'Challa.
Tell me why it's peak. Tell me why he clears.
Tell me why. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, exactly. Like, tell me why, or at least, or use different verbiage. You know what I'm saying? Don't use like peak and mid and all that stuff. Like, okay.
Also, learn mid. Mid does not mean bad. It means middle of the pack.
It means average. Like, but it's just, yeah. And I think for me specifically in 2023, not replying to any of that stuff. If I start tweeting or if I start seeing stuff and people start hitting me with the well actually or hitting me with the peak mid or garbage whatever, I'm done. Yeah. Especially if you're saying it unironically.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I've already been well actually one time earlier, and like it was annoying, and I replied to it in a nice way, but sure. Like because I don't want to disrespect anybody, but
yeah, of course.
I don't know if you saw it. It was the fucking I tweeted. Oh, it was they played the fucking track meet from Devilman Crybaby.
Oh yeah,
and they put Running in the 90s on it.
Yeah,
from Initial D, and I quoted it, and I was like, putting Initial D soundtrack on any race automatically makes it better.
Yeah.
And somebody replied to me and goes, I think that's Devilman Crybaby. Exact. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god, learn to read.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like, my reply was, yeah, that is, yeah, I think it is. It's a super dope anime. I was talking about the song they used, and I put a picture of like the song title in my tweet, in my reply to them.
Yeah.
But part of me wanted to be like, what the read? Like, look at the tweet that I tweeted, and then also, did you watch the show? Because Running in the 90s is not play during that fucking race. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. So okay, that's I'm off my soapbox now. I'm ignoring a majority of anti-Twitter in 2023. That's the title of this episode.
All right. Give me that soapbox. Yeah. I got some shit to say. And I'm fucking pissed.
Oh my god.
I guess spoiler alert for anything Final Fantasy VII related right now.
Yes. Skip
including the OG game, remake, Crisis Core, Before Crisis, Advent Children, all that shit.
So skip like the next 10 minutes.
Fucking sorry, I dropped something. People on Twitter. Damn, Twitter's a cesspool, huh?
It's so bad.
So, last year was the last year meaning 2022. I know we're in the beginning of 2023, but last year was the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy in general. That's why, they gave us a lot of news about the next game and the remake, and huge announcement that they were remastering, kind of remaking Crisis Core. For those of you who don't know, Crisis Core is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. I know Taylor is not going to play the OG game, but you want to play remake as far as I know.
Yep.
And I think you should know this information before remake.
All right, that makes sense.
There's a point in the game, in the OG Final Fantasy VII, where Cloud finds out he's not who he thinks he is. Meaning,
all right.
There's like a playable flashback, and there's a character. The OG Final Fantasy VII, they all look like blocks.
Yeah.
There's a character with the Buster Sword. Looks like Cloud, but he has black hair. And as a player, you're like, who the fuck is that? He gets sent out with Sephiroth, before Sephiroth turns into a villain, to Cloud's hometown, Nibelheim. It's Zack, Sephiroth, and 2 infantrymen, meaning 2 NPCs.
Yeah.
You find out one of the infantrymen is Cloud. Cloud's dream was to become a soldier first class in Soldier. He gets sent out, he leaves Nibelheim, doesn't make it on his first try, becomes an infantryman, and is embarrassed about it. Because he's like, the next time I come back to Nibelheim, I'll be Soldier. He's not yet. So he doesn't want to show his face, especially to Tifa.
Yeah.
He grew up with Tifa, and it's embarrassing, so he doesn't take off his mask. There's a situation that happens at Nibelheim. That's basic. It's literally Sephiroth's origin story, and Cloud and Zack end up getting captured for 4 years. They get put in giant like test tubes for 4 years. They're like missing for 4 years. And to be in Soldier, you get treated with Mako. What Mako is like the lifeblood of the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Since Zack was already Soldier, he has a immunity to that. Cloud does not. So when they break out, Cloud's all fucked up. Cloud like can't move. Zack's carrying him everywhere. And because of shit that happened with Soldier, which is, more story that I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
Zack is like, fuck Shinra, fuck Soldier. I hate this shit. Me and Cloud were going to be mercenaries. This and that, blah, blah, blah. Zack is this close. He's in the outskirts of Midgar because Zack has a relationship with Aerith. So he's like, I'm going to go back, see Aerith. That's my girl. Fucking a whole army of Shinra infantrymen are waiting for them because they escaped from the lab and they're like, oh, we need to get them back.
Yeah.
Because they know what happened at Nibelheim, which is when Sephiroth turned evil and destroyed Nibelheim.
Okay, that makes sense.
So fucking Zack hides Cloud somewhere and fights off a whole army by himself until the last 3 guys come out and just fucking kill Zack. And as Zack lays there dying, he gives Cloud the Buster Sword. So that's literally how Cloud gets his sword.
Yeah.
And says, you will live for the both of us. And then fucking says, you are my living legacy. Cloud agrees and says,
yes,
I am your living legacy.
Okay.
And then because of the Mako poisoning and all that shit, like Cloud is like finally kind of getting out of it. He thinks he was Zack. All the shit that Zack did, he thinks he did. That's why throughout all of Final Fantasy VII, he's like, oh, Soldier First Class, Cloud.
Yeah.
When it's not true. Which is why I like Cloud, because he's not the chosen one. He's just some guy, but he still did it.
Yeah, like some guy that just randomly happened to, stumble upon power.
The thing that pisses me off, everyone on Twitter was like, oh, Zack's not a main character. Zack is a side character, and there's official Nomura art of the 25th anniversary logo that has Sephiroth, Cloud, and Zack. Because they're all pretty intertwined, and people are like, you can't break up the trio, and we'll replace Zack with Aerith. And it's like, get your fan fiction relationship shit out of this. The only reason you even ship Aerith with Cloud is because she had a relationship with Zack. And that's why Cloud is like, oh, Aerith, this and that, blah, blah. Like,
yeah.
Like, Zack's
Zack's like an integral part of the story.
Zack is the story. If Cloud wasn't with Zack, Cloud would not. If Zack lived, Cloud would not have been the main character.
Right. Exactly.
And and it's such a big point in like remake. But you're gonna play it, so I'm not gonna get too deep into that.
Yeah. I got you.
But like, it's just people. Again, it's kind of like what you were talking about. Like, don't even interact with that kind of stuff. It's just these people have like almost crazy obsessions to the point where it's like regularly it's like, oh, I don't like Zack, I like Aerith. If someone said that, I'll be like, that's fine. But then they're like, you can't break up the Holy Trinity. If you think Zack is a main character, then you're dumb. And it's like, You didn't play Crisis Core.
Yeah, you didn't play the game, so you don't know the lore. So
He literally has his own game, and Aerith does not. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's just people are just, a little uneducated about some of the stuff that goes on in the game. And so that can kind of be a problem too.
And it's like Aerith is definitely important. Like super important when it comes to the whole story of Final Fantasy. Like everyone knows in the OG she gets murked in the middle of the game and it's a big fucking deal. Last living ancient on Earth. Don't worry, this is all stuff you need to know. Or last living ancient on Gaia, not Earth. That's important.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, the game's been out for so long that, like, that part of her getting murked is not necessarily a spoiler for me because I already know it happens. I've seen it a trillion times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I'm not saying she's not important, but it's like the main integral parts are Cloud, Sephiroth, and Zack. And the only reason Cloud even has a connection to Sephiroth is Zack. Yes, Sephiroth fucking destroys Cloud's hometown. That's important. But if it wasn't for Zack, Cloud actually has this heroic part during the incident. While Sephiroth is going crazy, he fights Zack, but it's fucking Sephiroth. So he kind of overpowers him. Sephiroth stabs Cloud with the Masamune, the long-ass sword.
Yeah.
And then Cloud picks him up from the other end with the sword in him and then, like, throws him off. That would not have happened if Zack didn't exist.
Yeah, like, just the fucking "you are my living legacy" should give you enough evidence right there that he's an important character in the story.
Bro, even Zack even makes, like, a cameo appearance as a flashback in Advent Children, which takes place 3 years after the OG game.
Yeah.
Like, all the shit that, like, Cloud wants to be Zack. Cloud wants to live up to Zack's expectations. Like, that's kind of Cloud's whole motivation. Besides, liking Tifa.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. It's just kind of stuff like that. Well, to kind of bring it back to, like, the point we were talking about earlier. Oh, excuse me. To bring it back to that point, we could just be like, you see that, right? You see people talking about that. It's becoming a problem. You can, you don't have to respond to that person directly. You can, make your own tweet or do something, about and bring up that topic in a way that's not like you're coming at that person or like wasting your brain cells talking about that person. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like you see, oh, like people are talking about this weird holy trinity between Cloud, Aerith, and Sephiroth. It makes no sense. And then instead of like replying to that person, be like, you don't know what we're talking about. You could just be like, you could take that and be like, I've been seeing a lot of tweets recently about X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And then you can go through this whole thing about how Zack is the most integral part of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, who did it the other day? Oh, like somebody was talking about. Oh, you haven't seen Hunter x Hunter, so it's a little bit different for me to talk about it. But like, somebody tweeted about like comparing like Sasuke and Kurapika because both their characters are very similar. Because you know Sasuke's whole thing. My clan was murked.
I know revenge. Sasuke's whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. My clan was murked. I want revenge. X, Y, and Z.
You burnt my house to the ground. My family's dead. What do I do?
What do I do? I'm gonna find you, motherfucker. Yeah. Basically, Kurapika is almost the same thing. So this group called the Phantom Troop killed his clan and stole like his eyes. So like their eyes have a very like a reddish color that is like very beautiful to look at, and it's a collector's item. It's like a black market collector's item that like people really like. And it's like, it's kind of fucked, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things. So Kurapika's like whole motivation in the show throughout the entire show and even the manga right now is collecting all of the eyes that are being sold on the black market from his family, from his clan. That's his whole motivation, right? In one of the arcs, it's kind of a spoiler, but I feel like it's one of those things where it kind of helps make the point, and you'll eventually watch Hunter x Hunter, so you may end up forgetting this conversation. Anyway.
Sure.
So spoiler warning for Hunter x Hunter as well. And this is, so just if you skip ahead a little bit, but basically there's a point in the arc where Kurapika takes a job as a bodyguard for this black market dealer, like a mafia member. And his daughter ends up winning some of they're called the Scarlet Eyes. He ends up winning a pair of Scarlet Eyes in an auction, in a black market auction. And she's like showing them off. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy I got these. And Kurapika's like in the room right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in seeing this happen, right? His whole point, his whole goal of being in, like of getting that bodyguard job was to get those Scarlet Eyes back. So while it's pissing him off that she's like parading around in it, he's also like, okay, this is kind of part of my plan because I need to get these eyes back. You know what I'm saying? So the guy tweeted like, this man Kurapika allowed somebody to flaunt his family's eyes in front of him. I would, like, if it was Sasuke, the whole room would have got killed or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of like replying to that tweet or like getting in like or doom scrolling the comments and like looking for people to talk to, you know what I'm saying? Somebody just tweeted it on their own and was like, the comparison between Kurapika and Sasuke is just like is similar, but Kurapika showed a lot of restraint and a lot of humility when he did X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still make your points, still talk about certain things, but like you're not like directly trying to respond and get interactions and engagement out of that guy. You know what I'm saying?
He's getting his opinion out or something. Yeah.
And it's kind of bait. You know what I'm saying? Like in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's kind of bait to get a lot of Hunter x Hunter fans to come in the comments and be mad. And then you get a lot of Naruto fans that are waiting for Hunter x Hunter fans to jump in so they can also jump in and call their show mid. You know what I'm saying? It's an endless vicious cycle that just doesn't, it's not going to end. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is this is kind of one of those things. So I guess, you know, we're off our soapboxes now.
Yeah.
Almost an hour in, but it's fine. Let's talk about this new season of anime real quick. Before that though, let me take a break. All right.
Before we continue.
Yep.
I have one more thing. It's
okay.
not about Final Fantasy, but I just remembered. It's been on my mind. I have not finished Bocchi yet. I'm like 2 episodes behind. That's it. I really like that show. And throughout the whole show, I've always said I really like the characters' designs. They're all very you know, not just cute anime girl, but they're very like color coordinated, like color theory plays into it a lot. Everything looks visually pleasing. You know, Cloverworks does an amazing job.
Right.
Their animation's great. I get so pissed because every fan art I see of Bocchi is so hypersexualized. Forget the fact that she is in high school or middle school.
I think middle school.
I think she's a freshman. I think she's a freshman.
Freshman in high school. Either way,
forget that fact. All 4 of the girls' designs are not sexualized at all,
like not even close.
Which I applaud Cloverworks for doing, because that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is it's a wholesome, funny show.
Yeah,
and I see so much fan art of Bocchi with humongous tits, and I'm like, what? How can you watch this show and that's what you get out of it?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
crazy
crazy
to me.
That's crazy. No, like
on top of the fact that They're freshmen in high school.
Yes, yeah. On top of the fact that they're freshmen in high school, like just not even like disregarding that part. Like you watched a whole show in which none of the characters get sexualized. They don't even talk about getting with boys for my knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Or like even dating at all. Most of the time they talk about like being in the band or being more confident in yourself or, you know what I'm saying? Or just like helping Bocchi overcome her stage fright. And you mean to tell me you saw all of that and was like, I'm attracted to Bocchi. That's insane. That's insane.
I'm looking at her character design from the show. It's like really long skirt, fucking track jacket, very box shaped.
Yeah.
There's nothing even like sexually appealing. So how do you watch that and then turn around? It's also like, bro, if I saw fan art of Nijika's sister, who's an adult,
yes,
I wouldn't care. I'd be like, whatever. It's just weird. It's like she looks like a kid.
Yes, she looks like a kid and is a kid. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it all comes down to just like the weird sections of anti-Twitter, bro. Like, it's just one of those deals. Like, why? Like, we're never gonna be able to change those people's minds about anything. They're just gonna be weirdos. We are well within our right to call them out and call them weirdos. I 100% agree with that. Like, they're gonna be weirdos. You should call them weirdos. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of times if they do some weird shit, you don't have to interact with it. You know what I'm saying? You can just,
of course,
let it fly. But I think, yeah, that's weird. Like it makes no sense. Like I don't even think like a teenager or like a high school kid who's even are roughly around the same age as like the characters Bocchi in that show would even think about that either. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like these are grown people, bro. That's weird as fuck. That's weird.
Yeah, I watched the show and like the most is like, oh, it's a cute design.
Yeah.
That's it. As a grown, normal human being, that's all you should say.
Yeah, like it's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense.
I just remembered that.
Oh yeah, no, that's no big deal. Bocchi and Nijika are also up for Best Girl this season for 2022, which we just saw like recently, which I think is cool. It's like it's Bocchi, Suletta, Minore, Power, and Nijika, which is hard as fuck.
I think
that's really tough.
Power would win just off of the strength.
Yeah, she was great
but
the whole show.
Personally, I like out of all those characters, I like Nijika. I think she's best designed and is the most uplifting.
True.
I like Suletta and Bocchi, but you know they're both nervous wrecks, so they can get kind of annoying.
Yeah, I think Minore was one of those characters that I didn't really like early on, but like I think around episode like 6 or 7, I could see the appeal. You know what I'm saying? I could see why people liked her. Yeah. I just think Bocchi and Suletta are very relatable to a lot of people. So I think, like, especially like the social anxiety or just like wanting to help people, but also just like being really quirky and nervous in your own type of way. I think that's relatable for a lot of people. And I think like
I think it's very funny. They both stutter a lot.
Yes,
but one, they're both voice actresses are great, and two, I think the way they're written or the way the Japanese language is, I think stuttering is a lot. They stutter more than English speakers.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm listening to them speak and I'm like,
get on with it.
Spit it out already, please. It's like, and I'm like, okay, get on with it.
Yeah, let's keep it moving now. Yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, okay. So real quick, so we, not that we're going over like too much time, but this season of anime, I think this season of anime for the new 2023 year for spring is going to be, it's going to be stacked. It's insane. Or is this the winter or this spring? I can't remember.
Winter 2023, I think.
I think I don't fucking know, but either way, it's gonna be fire, and it's already started off with a good start. We got the anime original Revenger, which I think is really cool. It's like a samurai story. I think it's
cool.
The first episode came out. It's pretty solid animation wise. Pretty, the story is not anything super, crazy. It's pretty much a basic story, but I think it could be pretty good. I know me and you definitely want to get into Nier Automata. Nier Automata, that opening episode. How did you? Okay, as the resident Nier, enthusiast, how did you think about the first episode?
I liked it. There are some parts of it where I was kind of like, ugh. Like, I saw a tweet that said the CGI looked bad, and I think at first it didn't. When 2B is flying in her like jet mode, but then when they switch into like mech mode,
yeah,
and then you can see her, and she's
just
CGI.
Like stiff. She's like very like stiff in the thing.
That came off a little weird. And I don't fault them for this. This isn't a really big thing, because I think people need to differentiate pacing of a 12-episode anime to pacing of like a 60-hour JRPG. I think people need to, because I when I first saw the fight, like the big fight, I was like, that was kind of fast. But then I kind of thought about it, and I was like, no, it makes sense. They're probably saving like a big fight for like the later episodes.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that genuinely bothered me a little bit, that I think some people might be confused about, is the black boxes.
Yeah. Okay. So they Yoko Taro is such a
the ending made me more excited.
Yeah, because Yoko Taro is ridiculous, because they talk about the black boxes at the very end, and they basically explain like each, like, because they explain like what the machines are, like they're the types
the
that they have,
and the machines,
like talk about each one is equipped with a black box. But I don't remember if they really explain what the black box is in the episode.
Right before they were about to explain it, they touch and they explode.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not a spoiler to explain what happened at the end. I think that's where some people might be confused. Not at the end. Before they get ambushed by the 3 other Goliaths.
Yes.
So what 9S did was upload 2B's memories back to the headquarters.
Yeah.
Because 9S knew, like, okay, we're gonna have to sacrifice ourselves. So basically they died.
Yeah, I figured that was the case. I figured they died.
But what I'm trying to say is they explained it a little more in the game. Maybe they explained it in episode 2. But basically they died, and then her memories got re-uploaded. They
kind of explain that, because remember, he says, like 9S says, the only thing, my memories go as far forward as linking up with you right before we were about to go in the thing. So like right before, so when 9S like swooped in to like help her out, that's as far as his memories go. Like he doesn't remember anything after that.
But besides that, I liked it. And again, the ending of the credits going and then to be continued.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, Yoko Taro had a hand in this.
He's a huge hand in it, bruh.
And it's gonna be weird, like the game. Oh, it's funny. The puppets were like, the game has so many endings, and they were about to. They didn't. They were like, We're gonna say
That
it for
actually-
you, and then they didn't.
That actually made me mad. I'm not gonna lie to you. That actually kind of annoyed me. They're like, oh, they're gonna explain some of the endings. I thought they were just gonna explain like some of the BS ones, like, you know, Tubi eating fish and dying or something like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I thought they were gonna do that, but no, they didn't. It was just it was ridiculous. So yeah, that was, I guess that's one that both of us are kind of keeping tabs on. Me, just because I like the aesthetic of Nier Automata, and I do at some point want to play the games. I will. You know what I'm saying? It's Persona 5 and Nier Automata are on my list to play, 100%.
I have both CDs, so you won't have to buy them.
Oh yeah, bet I can just grab them. Cool. I really want to talk about Trigun Stampede.
Brother, oh my
Dude.
god.
Okay, I know I'm breaking my rule here, but if you don't like the CGI, you're smoking. You're smoking.
Dude, it looks great.
Like, Studio Orange did a phenomenal job. Like, they did Beastars, so like I kind of already knew.
Oh,
what
that show looks great.
You see what I'm saying? I think they did Beastars. I think it's the same. I think, like, I saw like a tweet. It was the guy who's like directing, I think, or like the creator of Trigun. He was talking about the technology that the studio's using to make Trigun Stampede is the same technology using for Beastars, but they had to tweak it a certain way because they're not talking about anthropomorphic animals, they're talking about real people. So like the movements are a little bit different, but like it's still the same like engine they're running it on. And it looks fantastic. It's fantastic.
So stylized, and the movement is very like it looks great.
Yeah, bro.
I like Roberto.
I hate Roberto.
Here's the thing. I kind of like his character. Where's Millie though?
Where's Millie? Oh my god, dude. I think I saw a tweet. I looked up like, does Millie Thompson make an appearance? She doesn't make an appearance. Like, she's not in the show. They swapped her for Roberto, and I think that's a crime. That's a crime.
Oh.
She's arguably a top 2 character. It's like
it's funny.
It's Vash. Oh, what's the guy's name with the? I feel like a fake fan because I forgot Buddy's name with the big ass cross. I forgot his name, but he's one of my
priest.
Yes, he's one of my favorite.
He's
characters
great.
Too. Top 3 characters. It's Vash, him, and then Millie. You know,
yeah.
I love them so much. And I was so pissed when Millie wasn't in it, bro. And I was like, dang, like that kind of sucks. They tweaked a lot more stuff. That was like a big change.
They're
tweaked a lot more stuff
now.
Yeah,
instead of
because what was their job in the original? They're like
they were
government officials.
They were like they worked for an insurance company, and then they were going around not only trying to find Vash because of the insurance stuff, but like telling people like, oh, you know, sign up for insurance and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
I really like Meryl's design.
Yes,
in this one, I think she's very cute. She's very like a lot of expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like Vash's design.
I do. The only thing I don't like too much, I think like his left arm, like the shoulder looks a little clunky, looks a little thick.
A little bit.
Like, and then like I like his glasses in the original. Like his original glasses are way better.
I like these glasses.
You do? Oh no, I like the original
I think
glasses.
They're cool.
I like the originals. These ones are fine, but like, and again, I have no real like serious gripes about it. Like,
besides Millie,
besides Millie not being in it, that's the only thing I don't like about it. It's just, and I'm pretty sure I'll probably grow to like Roberto as the show goes on, but it's just like it's just tough because he's supposed to like that's like, it's Meryl and Millie, and now it's Meryl and Roberto, but the story, you know, for episode 1 kind of opens up a similar way as the first episode in the original.
A little bit.
With like the Badlands gang.
And they find him and
it's
tied up.
But man, I think they did a good job of like really showing like Vash Stampede as a character because it's kind of quirky. You know what's funny? They also changed his gun. It was a 45 caliber in the original. It's a 22
now. I like that. For as much as they changed, I like that he's still a
goofball. Yeah,
he's out of bullets. It's like I need a bullet. I love
exactly.
That.
Yes,
that was so funny.
Yeah, how could you look at that sequence of Meryl throwing the bullet, it getting hit? He runs after it, grabs it, gets in this weird fight, dodges the point blank shots from
grabs a rock and oh my god!
How do you look at that and be like, nah, the CG sucks? That's insane. That's insane. I don't like CG as much as the next guy, but come on.
Yeah, dude, it was great.
Yeah,
if you rewatch that sequence, I specifically love when Meryl throws the bullet. How like she's almost like a Looney Tune the way they animated her.
Yeah,
a lot of squash and stretch, and the perspective of the shot.
Yeah,
it's so sick.
Yeah, I think a large part of why I think the show is gonna be fine, even with all the CG, is the direction.
Yeah,
like the shots they use and how they use them, and it's executed well enough to where, I feel like if it was executed poorly, the CG I might not look as good. You know what I'm saying? But like the way they set the shots, the way the camera moves, and the way like everything's positioned, it looks like it could potentially cover a lot of the flaws that the CGI might have.
A great comparison that we talked about it. 2B's CGI, that she's very stiff compared to the CGI in this show, where everything is very flowy and the movement is super fluid, and it looks great. I think it looks phenomenal.
And then like you get like the middle ground with like Chainsaw Man, how like Katana Man and Denji's like heads are kind of CG
for how serious that show is. Even like, it's hard to explain. They aren't stiff, but it's not as fluid as Trigun.
Yeah,
because of how serious and dark that show is, but it still looks great.
Right, exactly.
I think of what you said, direction.
Yeah, it's just good direction. I think it's more so in Chainsaw Man than Trigun, but like the direction kind of makes up for some of the flaws that the CGI might have with it being kind of stiff. Like especially with, remember that first episode of Chainsaw Man where like they do this weird like slow camera pan of like Denji like first becoming Chainsaw and like going through, and like you really see his head, like the way the camera's moving, like it doesn't look as clunky with the switch of CGI. It looks a lot more fluid. You know what I'm saying? And then they also add their own like hand drawn like animations on top of the CGI build they used for his head, so like it doesn't look as weird.
Yeah.
So I think like doing stuff like that kind of adds and helps. So I just think with Nier it was like weird because like I know it's really fucking hard to animate all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all the robots and all the like just the mechanical stuff, all the technology. Like I understand that's for A1 Pictures, for as good as they are. I think it's it's hard for them to animate literally everything. So you gotta adding CGI is not a problem. It's just like I watched Trigun and then watched Nier. You could just see the drop off, and I was like, God.
And here's the thing about Nier. I don't even think the Goliaths looked bad. I just think the one thing that looked bad was the stiff models when they're in their mech form.
Yeah, that was really the only thing.
Yeah. My only hope is in the games you kind of do those like flying shooting sections a lot, but again, it's not the game. So my only hope is that they don't do that too often, which I don't see why they would, because not a lot of them. There was only one really big section, shooting section in the game that was like really integral to the story after the introduction.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. How far did they adapt the game with that first episode?
Like shot for shot, I would say, because even 9S looking at the other machine trying to revive the big machine with oil, like that's in the game too.
Oh, okay.
Like that could have not. They could have just not done that. But actually, that shot's kind of important. I won't tell you why, but
okay. Yeah, I just don't tell me because I'll just
there was I would say this is like a shot for shot recreation of the opening tutorial of Nier. Even 2B
cool.
fighting the defensive arm and her pod doing like the charge up shot.
Yeah.
Like those are that's a shot in the game.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I was surprised they actually. Well, that's kind of surprising. I thought they would kind of either cut some corners or do some different things with it. Maybe tell a whole different story entirely. I was not sure what they were going to do because
2B, that's my baby.
because with they did a good. They also really captured the essence. I'll just say that the essence of Nier's titular character, and I'm a little tongue in cheek saying that word prior. Yeah, like they had all the crazy like fan service shots and 2B moving around like
and it wasn't
destroying robots.
It wasn't too crazy with the fan service either. Like it's like
it wasn't ham fisted.
It was like a frame here and there.
Yeah, like
which I
sent you a tweet of like a random like screenshot of the frame where like she's like turning and it's like her skirt's up this way and I was like, oh Lord,
that was crazy. That's a crazy screenshot because in the animation it's like 2 frames.
Yeah, that's like somebody was like waiting to screenshot that. That's like really crazy behavior right there.
I besides the whole CGI thing, I still don't know where the story's gonna go because Yoko Taro, it's specifically the show's called Nier Automata version 1.1a. That's the name of the show. Knowing him,
1.1a is not in the game's title, is it?
No, because I played the original Nier Replicant.
Okay.
But the PS4 version. And that one specifically called Nier Replicant version 1. Like a shit ton of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Because it isn't the original Nier Replicant.
Oh, are we gonna have to go back? Am I gonna have to go back to another episode because you explained the Nier lore in one of the episodes? I forgot which one. Because you explained that like there's like different timelines and different situations. And certain things are like
Drakengard. Yes. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'll make it quick. Nier, the world of Nier, is a spin-off of Drakengard 1 and 2. Specifically, though, only one of the endings from Drakengard. Also made by Yoko Taro. Or Yoko Taro worked on them, at least. So if you play Drakengard and you get ending B, it is not canon to the world of Nier. I think Drakengard 2 ending E is you and your dragon get sent through a portal to a different dimension, and you get sent to what looks like a modern day city, like maybe New York or even Tokyo or something like that. And then you fight these big ass white angels or something. And what happens when you defeat them is they turn into ash. And you would think, okay, it's Square Enix flexing their particle effects again. Because that's what everyone knows them for. But specifically for that ending, the angels turn to ash. You and your dragon do not get sent back home. You fall to earth. The ash is highly poisonous. And a sickness, like a pandemic, forms. And that is why the world of Nier is so white.
Because of that.
Specifically because of that ash. And then, I won't go into it, but then something happens in the original Nier, and then you start off in modern day, but then when you start playing the game, it's like medieval. But I'm not going to spoil it, it's this whole thing. But Nier Automata is a direct sequel to the original Nier, which is a spin-off of Drakengard ending E only.
Okay. So I guess when Yoko Taro, had his hand in this and basically talks about how there's multiple game endings. I'm assuming that with this Nier Automata version 1.1a, it's not going to be very similar to the game, but it's going to be close enough to where it might be some sort of like alternate ending.
The thing is, they added a new character. Not in the first episode, but when they were like showing previews, there's one new character.
Yeah.
That's not in the games. And I thought that character was going to replace Devla and Popola, but then they showed them. They're like the redheaded twins.
Mm-hmm.
Which are in the original Nier. How did that happen? I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, so there's what other one did I want to talk about? Oh, I watched the first 2 episodes of Buddy Daddies. Just
I gotta watch it after this.
I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Like, it's actually kind of funny.
You showed me a really funny clip.
It's actually kind of funny, and I think people driving by my house again. It's actually really funny, and I think it's one of those things where people are always going to try to compare it to Spy Family because in essence, it's almost the same thing, right?
It's gay Spy Family,
gay X Family, yeah, it's essentially. Literally, it's two characters and the child. You know what I'm saying? And like, their relationship isn't for real, but they gotta act like they're together. But this is different because it's like, I can't remember exactly what the deal is, but like they're 2 partners working together as spies, and the blonde haired one is a bit of like a man whore, so he has a bunch of like women all out or across the globe. He's globetrotting around, right?
Yeah.
I guess one of them had a kid, and it's his.
Oh,
If that makes sense, yeah. One of them had a kid, and it's his.
That's funny.
Yeah. So like you get like the dark haired characters, like this weird like brooding. He's not like Twilight.
He's Sasuke.
He's not even. He's just like he's kind of like Aizawa from My Hero.
Oh yeah. I see it.
He's like Aizawa. But like he's really funny, and then the whole situation with the guy, like the big part of the blonde haired character is he's a man whore. So like it's a really big part of the character. Obviously, I feel like at some point in time they could potentially have a weird situation where both of them have some kind of relationship, or like they have to fake as though they're in a relationship. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Either way, it's entertaining.
I feel like from the clip that you sent me, I feel like it plays more into the comedy aspect, and the comedy, at least again from the clip you showed me, doesn't solely come from the child. It comes from the characters, which is like, I like Spy Family, but most of the comedy is Anya, or you're not knowing how to act like a human being.
True. Yeah,
that's most of the comedy. I feel like this one is the blonde dude. He literally calls his partner dude, like, dude, you forgot to pick up my kid or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Or, no, he said our kid, but I think it's hilarious too. But yeah, I think each character has their own little quirks. I think like each character has their own little things that they kind of do and their own personalities. And I think it's like not the humor doesn't come from solely from one aspect of the whole thing. So, but I forgot the little girl's name, but she's definitely like a discount Anya. Like she doesn't really like she has the same like really cute expressions and really wholesome moments or whatever. But
it's hard to be Anya. Let's be real.
It's keep it a buck. It's really hard to beat Anya, and I don't think she's got it in her to do that. She's a great character. I like her, but I don't think she has like Anya has a little bit some extra. I don't think she has that. But yeah, there's probably some other shows that will probably be coming out soon that I want to get on. It's just like spring is going to get really busy for me, so I might have to catch all the anime on the back end. One thing I'm not missing, Vinland Saga is coming out tomorrow, I think. So I'm gonna watch that too. So I'm gonna try to make sure I keep on with the seasonal stuff, even though I might not be able to kind of make some big podcast episodes or content out of it. Well, we'll also try to keep up and see what we can do with it. But you got anything else though? I know we talked about a lot for a long amount of time.
I just no, just some plans for 2023. I was the other day I sent you the picture. I was messing around with OBS
Mm-hmm.
to make content creation a little bit easier instead of having to set up my big camera and then editing from there. I was seeing if I could use OBS to kind of maybe a little bit like Mogul Mail, not the same stuff, but
Yeah.
use my webcam and then like switch instead of editing like downloading a video.
Instead of editing like and then moving your own like clip up to the top corner, you could just like have it there as like a full
Yeah.
recording.
The only problem is I need to upgrade my graphics card. It does not work with it. So I my whole point in saying this is content creation won't start immediately, which is fine. It's the first week of the year.
Yeah.
I was freaking out about it a little, but I was like, I gotta chill out. I'm gonna save up for a graphics card. Not the 4090. That was like $2,000, and it's the size of my PC.
Yeah.
But maybe a 910, like a 900 series maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And so more videos like that and TikToks like that won't be coming from me immediately, because I'll be grinding for some money. But once I do, it's gonna be a lot easier.
Yeah. So we both of us, there's like a weird sign where random people in different aspects of our lives were telling us to try to take content creation more seriously. So we're gonna try to see, what we can kind of do with it. I don't know if anybody. It's random tangent though. Like I kind of figured that like most of the video content on Instagram and TikTok sometimes like only like a small percentage of your followers actually see it, which kind of sucks because like we have a decent amount of followers on both Instagram and TikTok. They're very very minuscule, but like we have a pretty good ratio of followers following. We got people that like our stuff consistently, but getting more eyes on our stuff is going to be a more uphill battle. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things, but we're excited to kind of take on the challenge and kind of see where we can go with things. I know it's going to be kind of tough for me in the spring because I'm entering baseball season, so I'm going to be preoccupied a lot. So Zoe's probably going to take a little more of a content creator role than me, and then when the summertime rolls around, we'll definitely be tag teaming it for real. So again, thank you all for listening.